Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome to Weiner Wellness Week, day 3. We're on day 3 already. We have Jamie Dorley, the CEO of Nutritional Frontiers, co-founder with Dr. Weiner of the company, and he's got a great presentation for us today. He has got some of the solutions to your pollution, the Remove Complete cleaning kit, and this is a kit that I love, really great product. So Jamie's got a great presentation. Me and Jeff were just on going through the morning commentary, some of the highlights, and we've got a great day. We've got a couple guest speakers on today, so we're excited to hear from you, and then we'll be excited to hear from some outsiders.
Well, good morning, Candace. Thanks so much for having me on again. I can't believe it's day 3 already, and I appreciate the compliment. You already told me it's a great presentation, so I'm not going to let you down. And Saturday, me and Joe Messina were down at the Wellness Center, and even though the event's virtual, they're also allowing people to shop. So if you want to go down, you go to 2419 Baldwick. You can also call and do curbside pickup, and they'll even do free shipping on your orders. So you can order any which way you can through the website. You can call. I even heard they take fax machine orders still. I'm not sure you know what a fax machine is, but that was very common years ago. But when I was down there this weekend, it was really exciting to see some pictures of the first time I met Joe Messina. It was actually a wellness event at Monroeville, which is about a half hour east in Pittsburgh at the Almanzo Palace Inn. It was an old hotel and banquet hall. And I met Joe there, and the topic was actually detox. So there was about 1,000 people in the room. And I remember I'd asked Doc if I could speak for months. He said no. And then I was there, and he said, "You ready to speak?" I said, "Yeah, I got my bag and my laptop." So the point was, and the learning lesson was, always be prepared, right? And I remember I looked up in the room. I had to look up a couple times just to see the back of the room. That's how many people were there. So after I went through my initial sweat, we hit it out of the park with detox. And here we are 20 years later. And I think we are exposed to a tremendous amount more of toxicity. And that's going to go today is just really talk about not only what we're exposed to the problem, but more importantly, what can you do about it? Because one thing I did learn from Dr. Weiner and also Dr. Jeffrey Bland was that you will ingest more toxins by choice than toxins that you're going to just be exposed to on a daily basis. So keep calm. It's time to cleanse. It's going to be a healthy, simple, easy, effective way to cleanse. There's so many programs out there. But I've been in the industry now for 29 years. I know it's shocking to everyone, but I went to Slippery Rock, one of the hardest schools, not so much to get into, but to get out of, right? Very easy to get in, very hard to get out. So Candace, where'd you go? I know you were Ivy League.
Slippery Rock University.
Oh, there you go. Only the best go to the Rocks. So that brought me to Western PA and fell in love with the people here, and just a great environment to raise a family. And I've been here pretty much ever since. I worked at Bally's and American College of Sports Medicine, personal trainer. Was with Metagenics locally. That's where I met Dr. Weiner and Joe and so many great people. And then I transitioned down to Florida in the Southeast for Metagenics, got promoted a couple of times, and probably would still be with the company. But unfortunately for me, fortunately for them, they did sell right around 2008. So me and Doc started Nutritional Frontiers, and I've been doing that ever since. I had a short stint in the transition of NutriPharmacy from Dan Wagner to the current owners, just to keep that business going. So I've been in the front lines in the industry, and I've worked in so many capacities, everything from manufacturing to one-on-one fitness to now owning Nutritional Frontiers, and really grateful for the opportunity to be back on here. Can't wait to see everyone live at our next event. But in the meantime, we're going to do the virtual one, which we're glad that we can help so many people. So if you like what we're doing, tell somebody else about the events. You can watch them live on Facebook, or you can pick up the recordings. So when we talk about it, people always ask me, Candace, I'm sure you get this question a lot. Well, who needs to cleanse, right? You ever get that question?
All the time. Yeah, people ask, why would I need to do a detox?
Yeah, I equate it to like cleaning up. We just did some fall cleaning for the yard. You may clean the basement or the garage. The more you do that, the easier it is, right? You got to stay on top of it. You don't let the grass grow for 3 months and then go out there and try and clean it up. And the body's no different, because this was actually done in 1982 by US EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. And they looked at about 30,000 people, and they did a nice big study. So they went to all these different metropolitan areas. And what they did is they took a sample from the gluteus maximus adipose tissue, which is a fancy way of saying the fat from the butt from cadavers. And they wanted to test it and see what percentage of people actually had toxins in their body, because toxins are fat soluble compounds. They stick to fat. So when people want to lose weight, I always say do a cleanse first, because after puberty, you don't gain more fat cells, they just swell up. And the body's solution to pollution is dilution. That's why you hold extra water outside your cells, and those fat cells swell. And the reason why is you have so many different toxins in your body. Look at this study: plastics, pesticides, solvents, perfumes, dioxins. 100% of people tested for those compounds. So that means everyone from all over the US was exposed. Do you think it's gotten better or worse since 1982?
Unfortunately, it's gotten worse.
Yeah, because now you have electromagnetic frequencies and 5G and new compounds. And I went to a great seminar right before we started Nutritional Frontiers from a medical doctor down in Orlando. And he said that, once DuPont created plastics around 1920, in the last 2 generations, we've been exposed to over 5 generations of evolution, meaning normally you're exposed to something, the body gets used to it, it's able to detoxify it. We've been exposed to so much so quickly that the body's not equipped to be able to clean out these chemicals. Even PCBs over 80%. So the question is, who needs to detoxify? You go to the next slide. Everyone. There's no reason why everyone shouldn't do a cleanse. And it could be a really simple cleanse. It could be more intense depending on what the goal of the cleanse is. But everyone needs to do a cleanse. And if you look at it, where do some of these chemicals come from? Antibiotics, a lot of those come from livestock. So if you're eating livestock that is not organic, you're going to be loaded with chemicals. I was actually at the wellness center on Saturday, and a client I've known for a long time actually helped his son, who's probably in his 40s, with autoimmune conditions. He came in and said he had a problem with colon cancer, and he had diverticulitis. They may have colon cancer. So I started talking about his diet. He's consuming a lot of dairy products, including milk, whole milk. And I said, our program, you've been following it. Like, let's change it, because it's so hard for your body to break these down. But pesticides, PCBs, parabens, we're exposed to so many different things. 200 man-made industrial chemicals already in the blood of a newborn. And then you look by adulthood, another 700. So there's about 1,000 chemicals that's in our body. So everyone needs a cleanse. The problem with these chemicals, it's like filling up a cup. If I dropped a drop of water in this cup, what would happen? Nothing, because it's only about half full. If the cup's full to the top and I drop a small drop in, it overflows. Same thing with your body. You will store these compounds over your lifetime. So when you're younger, you can get away with drinking or having some cigarettes or eating some fast foods. It doesn't really hit you right away. It builds up over time. So bacteria, viruses, parasites, you think of all the pesticides in the foods. Some I call it junk, Candace, as you work with so many people with GI, you're not breaking these things down in your intestinal tract. So they ferment and petrify over time. And you have these rotting of foods in the intestinal tract. Then you look at self-administration, recreational drugs, prescription, over-the-counters, smoking, alcohol, all these different things. I'm not saying, hey, you can't have a drink here and there. I'm just saying that be careful, because all these will build up over time. And now what happens? You absorb chemicals through your skin, a lot of perfumes, you look at skin lotions, you look at makeup, all these different things you get exposed to. And then you have stress hormones. So these build up, and what type of effect do they have in the body? Well, some people, like I just mentioned this gentleman, IBS and potential colon cancer. right? The big thing you may see initially is skin irritations, right? People say, oh, I got this rash on my body, or I have hives, or I have psoriasis or eczema, or I love the famous one Doc used to talk about, contact dermatitis. That's just explaining what they see. It's inflammation in his skin. I can identify that. You may have acid reflux and GERD and weight gain and all these different things. And then what happens is eventually you'll have low testosterone. You may have breast cancer. You may have chronic pain. This is a buildup of toxicity in your body. Just by changing the diet, oftentimes people get great results. So get off the junk, get off dairy, get off fast foods. I have a great one of my clients actually wrote this. It's a great book. And he's talking about the top 7 foods to eliminate. And one of them was fast foods. Just eliminate them. Don't go to fast food restaurants. Go to Whole Foods, right? Go make a smoothie. Don't go to fast food restaurants, okay? So what are some of the symptoms? Oftentimes people will find that they're not in their groove. Their pants are a little tighter. They're not sleeping as well. Their skin's acting up. They get sick a little more. And lately, it's a lot of food intolerances, right? People, oh, I'm bloated, I'm gassy, I'm constipated, diarrhea, mental fog, energy levels are low. These are all signs, folks, that you're toxic. You're not sick. Your body has toxic overload. No different than trying to put Coca-Cola in your gas tank. Your car will not run right. Your body's made from water, fruits, and veggies, which we're going to talk about. So most people actually think they're tired are actually toxic, right? Their body is overloaded. There's too much stress in their intestinal tract. They're not getting the nutrients they need inside their cells, so they don't have as much energy, because you got to realize you're not breaking down this junk. One of the problems would say like something like chips, and I'm glad I've never been a chip guy, I'm more of a food guy. One of the problems with those foods, Candace, is not only is there toxicity to them, there's no nutrient value, right? So you take a food that is junk, has no nutrients in it, now it's just adding toxins to your body. And the old commercial, you can't eat just one. So they make these snacks very addicting, so you continue to eat them. So really 6 steps, right? If you own a liver, hopefully you do. If not, you're not going to be alive too long, right? Be kind to the liver. You got to remember, the first step in cleansing is to limit or eliminate certain things coming in the body. Candace, do you go to fast food restaurants?
Nope. And I can't remember the last time I had. I was thinking, once you give it up too, you don't even think about it. And there's times where I'm in a crunch and, need to run out for lunch. We have Fresh Time. You mentioned Whole Foods. Fresh Time is near the office. I'll go there. They have one of those salad bars. I'll get olives and, put together a little healthy lunch, but never fast food. It's not even on my radar.
Yeah, when we was in Florida, me and Zach were down there for the event last week and wanted something quick. And I asked to go out to the hotel. She said, I think theirs was called Fresh Time, a Fresh Market.
Yeah.
So we went, it was the coolest restaurant, like fast food place. Because first of all, the energy of the people working there, they were young, they were fit, they were excited. You walk in and they had this big mural, looked like graffiti on the wall. And it said, no hormones, no dairy, no sugar, like all these different things. And the food was fantastic. I want to bring one up to Pittsburgh. You get to pick a couple different options: lean protein, hormone-free grass-fed beef. They actually had wild salmon, right? They had vegetarian dishes. So I got kale and broccoli as my base. And then I didn't have the rice, but you can have brown rice. And it was just so exciting because it was inexpensive. It was really quick, but it was healthy for you. So that's a new wave of these restaurants coming out. But yeah, don't, like you said, the less you eat of those foods, you're not going to want to go to Taco Bell or, Mickey D's. You're going to feel sick when you do. So number 1, reduce or eliminate those foods. And you can start with a slow process. What I did this year is I wrote down one thing each day I was cutting out. You just keep cutting them out. Eat sulfur-rich foods. That's what supports phase 2 of the liver. So eggs, certain vegetables, proteins, like Super Shake, all support phase 2. Cruciferous vegetables, those are fantastic for hormone balancing. So broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, all really important. Stop buying these detox teas, right? These are just gimmicky market. There's no nutrients in it. Your body requires a tremendous amount of nutrients, just like you require a tremendous amount of energy to clean up the basement. So you need vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, proteins, fibers. You need all those nutrients to detoxify. And healthier food, right? People say that eating healthy is more expensive. I don't find that to be true, because I find whatever your budget is, you'll buy enough food for there. Organic eggs, if you can eat eggs, really inexpensive. How many eggs can you eat a day or a week, right? Fruits and veggies. Here's what happens, Candace. People get excited, right? They go buy all this healthy food, and then they go away for the weekend. They come back and the food's going bad. Don't overbuy. Yeah, you have to go to the grocery store more. When I was growing up, we were just talking about this the other day. I lived in the city, and you can just walk to the grocery store. My mom went every day. So you just walk, you get the produce, you get the food you need, and cook fresh food. So these are the things you want to do. We have the NF for Life program. We have the Power Cleanse. We're going to talk about the greens. So we like to combine food and supplements together. Oh, there it is. The Remove Complete. Simple and effective. We created the kit because we want to eliminate all of the confusion out there. Even when you're restricting and eliminating foods, you want to support your body with extra foods. And that's what the Power Cleanse is. It's a powdered food. It has your multivitamin in it, has your minerals in it, has a detox blend. And we give you the shaker bottle, the booklet, the Holistic Truth. And then we add a little lymphatic tincture, which we'll talk a little more about later. So this whole system was designed by our team of doctors and healthcare professionals to give you all the nutrients you need to support detoxification without any of the chemical exposure. So there's no sugar in here. There's no artificial flavorings, colorings, dyes, additives, nothing that you don't want in there. Very clean and easy to use. Here's the booklet. It outlines the entire program. I know you've used this program, Candace. What is some feedback you want to give to all the people out there?
Yeah, so I mentioned this talking with Jeff before, just talking about how great of a program this is, because it's a full program. It's not just, those detox teas, or I see people spend so much money on those cold pressed detox juices, and those really are costly. And what they do is they just cleanse the colon, and it's not really a full detox. It doesn't really do much to the liver. And what I find with these, especially the Power Cleanse, it's amazing. It has the macronutrient matrix and the vitamin and mineral matrix. So you're getting all of your nutrients. It's very supportive. And at the same time, it has that proprietary detox matrix. So it's still doing the detox, but it's very supportive at the same time.
That was a great point. So we give you all the nutrients you need. So easy way to do this, you do 1, 2, or 3 shakes a day, and you do 1, 2, 3 meals a day. Eat everything on the good list: fruits, veggies, and some lean proteins. I limit the nuts and seeds when I'm doing a program like this, just to lower the fat content, but really simple: fruits, veggies, light, lean proteins, and then maybe some nuts and seeds. So you got to realize that we are swimming in a sea of toxicity. In our office, we have this purification system that works on 10 different steps to make the water cleaner, because there's chlorine. I mean, when you go to Florida, you can actually smell it. If you don't live down there, you can smell it in the water. Even if you're getting iced tea or coffee, you can smell it. So it's in the water already. Some areas more than others. And it used to be like when you went to Mexico, people were worried about the water change. If you travel outside your county, you need SBC, our probiotic, because the water is so different. You may not be used to some of the things in there. PCBs, lead, mercury, bacteria, many different things that we're exposed to just in the water alone. When you start to look at the foods, right? We talk about fruits and veggies. Have a strategy, because the ones on the Dirty Dozen, these are the foods, the fruits and veggies, candidates that have the highest susceptibility and levels of herbicides and pesticides. So you look at they have a common theme. They have thinner skin on them, right? So pineapples and avocados and melons and those types of things, bananas aren't going to have as much herbicides and pesticides. I always say to shop local. So go to the farmers markets, local. Whole Foods is a great place to go. There's other options you have locally in the Pittsburgh area, but find local farmers markets. Try and buy organic when you can. And if you can't, at least get the freshest foods that you can. So when you look at the Clean 15, try and focus. These won't be as important if they're organic or not. We still want them to be, but you have some options here as far as having a strategy in place. So organic food doesn't always mean chemical free, because what we'll find is a lot of residue on food. That's our fearless leader, Michaela. You want to say hi?
Hi.
We're live on Zoom. So organic food doesn't always mean chemical free, because they found about 25% will have some residue on it because it's become part of the air. And when I was younger and doing bodybuilding, I lived on tuna fish and rice. So very inexpensive way to get good food in, some veggies, and I would do eggs and oatmeal. And I remember when I got paid, I would go buy I thought the great tuna, the white tuna. And then what I found is that the white tuna has 3 times as much mercury as the light tuna. Why? Bigger the fish, fatter the fish, older the fish, the more toxins they may have. So have a strategy in place. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but no one is safe. When you look at a newborn, this is really scary. I have 3 kids. They're showing that the blood of a newborn already has 200 industrial chemicals, pollutants, retardants, carcinogens, and looking at all the different cancers that could possibly be prevented over the last 30 years. This is an older illustration, but it really, nowadays it's probably, it is worse, right? But this is the EPA in 1991, looking at all the different things you're exposed to in a house, right? You have the asbestos with the heating system, the curtains, the couches, cars in the garage. Now it's compounded with technology, right? Blue lights, EMGs, 5G, all these different things that we're exposed to. When I grew up, Candace, there was one TV in the house. Now there's probably one TV in each room, right? And, there was no computers, there's no cell phones, there's no satellite, there's no internet. So you compound all these things now, it's only gotten a lot worse. So the other thing is the environment. If you look at what we're exposed to in the environment, sorry, I have some technology issues here. Okay. These are things that they found that are, really sad now with the whole mask thing. I'm starting to see these masks on the ground. Have you seen that to be the case?
Yeah, it's the new littering 2020. It drives me crazy.
Oh, it really is irritating to me. It doesn't take much to irritate me, as everyone knows, but garbage is the worst thing. My dad taught me when I was a kid was the only thing you leave behind is footprints. We went down to the Science Center on Sunday. It was a nice fall, crisp day in Pittsburgh. And we went for a nice walk, and we went down by the river, and it was like, wow, there's a lot of garbage down here. And I get if the river's high and stuff, it'll wash stuff down, but at some point someone had to drop it. But cigarette butts, food wrappers, water bottles. I was down even at Clearwater Beach. There were so many people that I was shocked at how much garbage on the beach. Meanwhile, there's garbage cans everywhere, right? Plastic bags. So these are all things in our environment that just contributes more. I know the plastic straws is a big issue, going into the ocean. So these are all things we're exposed to in our environment. So as you had mentioned before, we were talking about, the buildup of these toxins in the body, right? But this is what the connection is. You may not understand lead, right? Other than it's a heavy metal, but neurological damages. Think about Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia. It also affects kidney, blood pressure, infertility. I had some functional medicine doctors that they said a lot of elevated blood pressure is from weight and heavy metals. Cadmium, same thing, right? Also affects the bones, mercury, lung damage, arsenic. So these environmental toxins can be very damaging. However, when you go to a conventional medical doctor, they're not testing you for these things. So the detox system, we're going to simplify it today, but it's very complex. But you got to support your detoxification every day in a healthy way. So sweating. I know you work out every day. I was there this morning, sweating, doing my cardio, also do some weight training. So you got to sweat. That's where your body gets rid of toxins every day. Colon. You should have bowel movements every day. We have a whole article on this in our Holistic Truth magazine. Kidney function. You should be urinating in a healthy way. Lungs, exhalation, and for females in the childbearing years, healthy menstruation cycle. So these all need to be working in this complex system. And if one isn't really optimal, then you need to address it, because if you're not detoxifying, these toxins will build up over time and can create a lot of havoc. So the old naturopath saying is health and death begin in the colon. So we just talked about diverticulitis and diverticulosis in the colon, right? So that's like potholes on the street. So what happens is these holes in your intestinal tract, these pockets, they become impacted with fecal matter, bacteria, they become infected. It's just an erosion. You need to feed your intestinal tract. Your intestinal tract is a muscle, and it grows with fiber and short chain fatty acids. So another reason for eating fiber. It's not just about weight, folks. It's about health. So we always say that it begins there and it ends there. You need to make sure you are feeding it with the fiber, the right micro and macronutrients. And that's why that Remove Complete Detox Kit is so comprehensive and therapeutic, because it has everything in one. Because we always tend to think of the detoxification pathway and system really the liver. The liver is really the main filter, but it's only part of the big picture. But it filters your blood continuously. It can really take a pounding. We've seen many examples of this, of athletes or celebrities or loved ones, that their liver has been really exhausted and they've had a comeback, right? But it's basically taking the toxin and breaking it down so your body can get it out of the body. So it's really a two-step process. To simplify it again, it's very complex. You have all these phase 1 enzymes like cytochrome P450, and then phase 2 like sulfation, methylation, glucuronidation. So these are very complex processes in the body, and they require a lot of nutrients. Phase 1 requires a lot of vitamins and minerals. Phase 2 requires amino acid donators. That's why the proteins that are specific are so important, and sulfur-rich foods is so important. And throughout this whole process, you need antioxidants, because you have all these highly reactive chemical compounds that are byproducts of the process, that if you don't take care of them, it could be the rusting of the cells. And, if you have a lot of toxicity, how does it lead to something like cancer? Think of making a photocopy. If you make a photocopy of a photocopy and you keep doing that over time, eventually it doesn't quite look the same. That's what happens with cell replication. If the cell's a little damaged, it replicates, it's a little more damaged, and on and on and on. It may take years, and now it manifests in the cancer. So the best foods for detoxification: fruits or veggies, fresh, lean proteins. When we looked this up a few years back, I said, well, what's the difference between fresh, frozen, and canned? Well, the fresh and frozen aren't that far apart. Even in our office, Kim taught me a couple of tricks. One is to take a banana, cut it in half, and put it in the freezer. So you can use it as a frozen snack. A half a banana, it takes the edge off. You can also use it when you're making a smoothie. So you can freeze your own fruits and veggies. You can buy them frozen, or you can buy them fresh. So if you're buying them fresh, you're not going to use them all. Put them in the freezer and then take them out when you need them. And the frozen fruit, you can eat pretty quickly. I mean, you don't have to really let it thaw out. Don't use a microwave or anything. Just let it sit there for a little bit, and you'll be able to take a frozen fruit bar. So these are all important to make sure you have a complex variety of different colors, because the food has lost so much of its nutrient content from just 50 years ago. It's lost anywhere between 10 and 80%. When you start looking at the fruits and veggies, what they used to contain, it's dramatically decreased. So you still want to make sure you eat fruits and veggies, but you do have to make sure you supplement your program. You know, the big thing is magnesium. It can be down as much as 88%. And what's the number one issue that's killing Americans? Heart disease. What's the number one cause of heart disease? Low magnesium levels, elevated blood pressure, diabetes, muscle cramps, headaches, all associated with low magnesium. So it's no wonder all the other fruits and veggies, their nutrients are down tremendously. So an easy way to get fruits and veggies, this is our insurance policy. We say fruits and veggies are so expensive. What if I said to you, for less than $2 a day, you can get all your fruits and veggies and greens in and a great tasting apple cinnamon flavored juice? What would you say, Candace?
I'd say sign me up.
There we go. And
You
you
don't
drink
have
it.
to make a big mess in the kitchen and then clean it all up. Sign me up.
Yeah, we still want to have fruits and veggies in our diet, but I find, do you do juicing every day where you buy the food and you get the juicer out and juice every day?
No, but I have, and it's something you do for a period of time, and then it's something you don't want to do for years.
And why is that?
It takes a lot of time to get all of the fruits and vegetables, and like you said, if you're not thinking about it, to put them in the freezer. It's just the whole process, and you got to take every piece of the juicer apart, clean it all, let it dry, put it back, and then you got to get it out the next morning.
Yeah, it's not convenient, right? It's
No.
time consuming. It takes a lot of energy. If you want to do it, fantastic. If you want to do it once in a while, great. But in addition to that, we want you to eat fruits and veggies, but why not do a scoop of the lean greens? Tastes great. It gives your body prebiotics, probiotics, the superfoods, spirulina and chlorella, plus all these other different nutrients in there. It's fantastic. Tastes great. And what an easy way to make sure you're getting all your nutrients in every day. So chlorophyll is really important. That's the green colored nutrient in there. It helps prevent toxins from being absorbed through the gut. Barley grass, one of the best chelators out there. It actually will bind to the toxins, render them harmless, and pull them out of the body. So this thing is jam-packed with nutrients. When we created the greens, we wanted to make sure it was comprehensive. Spirulina, this was the original superfood. This was the most nutrient-dense food on the planet, found by NASA. It actually has a history of over 3.5 million years on the planet. It is a chelator, so it can claw or attach to really harmful metals, toxins in the body, and help detoxify them. And they're saying that, you know, I've read this 100 times and I've read the studies, and it's still, you know, it's still overwhelming. It's like, wow, spirulina, 1 pound of that has the equivalent of 1,000 pounds of assorted vegetables. That's how nutrient dense it is, folks. Make sure you get your cup of greens every day. Simple and easy and effective. And that's part of our preventive program, right? You can add this right in with the Remove Complete kit. You can add this right to the Power Cleanse shake, or you can do the greens on its own. But you can live on this Remove Complete kit. You can live on it for a weekend. You can do a week. You can do 2 weeks. You can do a month. That's up to you. 1 to 3 servings of the Power Cleanse per day. The more servings per day, the quicker you'll go through the cleanse. So if you wanted to, say, get ready for a wedding or the beach or pre-holiday is a great time to do it. You can do a little more intense program, or you can do it, slow it down a little bit. So you have options there with the program choices. And Candace, you don't have to do the exact same thing every day. I tell people, if it's a Sunday and you're home and it's a little more relaxed and you want to do 2 or 3 servings a day, great. If you're at work on Monday, and you have a luncheon for work and you can't do the three, you can do one. So make it fit your schedule. But the Power Cleanse supports phase 1, 2, and 3 detox support. So you have that vitamin and mineral matrix of phase 1, the macronutrient to give your body all the nutrients it needs, and the proprietary detox matrix to finally clear those toxins out of the body. Well, what does macro mean? You hear that term being used a lot by people at CrossFit and bodybuilding. You got your macros in? I'm not even sure if everyone knows what macros are. Macro means large. Those are usually measured in grams. So we think of macronutrients as your protein, carbs, fat, and fiber. So this is a very balanced macronutrient matrix. I don't believe in extremes unless you're an extreme athlete. So, or you have an extreme condition, right? But for most people, a well-balanced program is the best. We use 15 grams of a vegan-based protein. That's pea, pumpkin, and rice. So it's hypoallergenic, not going to cause any GI upset like maybe a milk protein would or a soy protein. So vegan protein, one of the easiest to digest. 15 grams of complex carbs. So the key is in this is no added sugar. We use a little bit of evaporated cane juice, but no added sugar. So it's not going to raise your blood sugar. And we have about 4 grams of fiber and 4 grams of coconut oil. So all the different benefits of coconut oil, giving your cells good energy, helping balance blood sugar, helping with brain function and mood. So really balance out macronutrient blend to help give the food you need when you're restricting food. Because Candace, years ago, what people used to do is water fast. And what they found is that they're very difficult for most people to do. You start breaking down a lot of muscle tissue within a couple of days, and most people don't have the energy to get through that initial 2 or 3 day period. Then people started doing juice fasts, and they found those are actually worse because they're consuming high sugar content. There's no amino acids for phase 2 detox. There's no fiber to pull that out unless you're making your own juice. So we created the Power Cleanse with all that in mind to give your body exactly what it needs without any extra. So the other thing in Power Cleanse is we have the Frontier Multi. This is the time you can take a break, Candace, from your other supplements. It has the Frontier Multi vitamin and mineral matrix right in there. So it has all your vitamins, all your minerals, and they're in the right forms and amounts. So you don't have to take a vitamin and mineral on top of the Power Cleanse. It's all in there for you. And we use all the trademark ingredients, the active folate, which is really important for methylation. We use the quadrifolic. We have the TRAX, which stands for the real amino acid chelates by Albion. So these are chelated minerals, meaning these forms, folks, are the forms that your body will absorb the most effectively, because it's not just what you take, it's what you absorb, assimilate in the cells, and what did it actually do in the cells. And these forms are the best out there. Quadrifolate, TRAX, these are the types of vitamins and minerals we're using. And then the detox blend. So obviously everyone's familiar with milk thistle, really important herb that's been used for liver health. We also have all the sulfating amino acids. So the sulfur containing amino acids that support phase 2, like glutamine and N-acetylcysteine and glycine and taurine. So we have a nice detox matrix. It's very gentle. The people ever ask you, Candace, oh, is this going to make me run to the restroom?
All the time. That's a huge concern with detoxes.
Yeah, and this is not a laxative. I think when you're buying those herbal teas or a laxative, those are going to make you run to the restroom. This is going to support your body to help you have normal bowel movements. So if you are constipated, it will stimulate your body to have bowel movements, but it's not a laxative that's going to flush you real quick. So those are the nutrients I just mentioned. They're all in there. They're all added because phase 2 is where things go wrong oftentimes. We help get that toxin through phase 1. We're starting to go through phase 2. And then that's where all the dysfunction occurs because the body doesn't have the right nutrients to complete that very complex task. So we're able to do that. The other part is the clearance through the lymphatic system. So we want to make sure these toxins are ready to go. The lymph system is your sewage system. No different in your house when you flush the toilet, it goes out. If the sewage system outside is stopped, then you're gonna have a backup. You're gonna have a lot of problems. And that's what happens with people that have issues with lymphatic drainage. So it's a very complex system that helps support all your lymph fluids, and they go around and kill off things, and they finalize the detoxification pathway, and then they're able to help change the molecule into a form that your body can excrete very gently, either through urination, having a bowel movement. And the biggest problem with the lymph system is that there's no pump. So that's where exercise, you walk, and usually afterwards you have to go to the bathroom and you're sweating a lot. It's getting that lymph system going every day. So no different than, if your dog has to go to the bathroom, you take it for a walk. That's the idea of taking the dog for a walk, getting some exercise, getting the lymph system going, and then they can have their bowel movement or urinate. So we have a lymphatic liquid organic herbal tincture. This helps support the whole lymphatic system. One of our most popular herbal tinctures that Nutritional Frontiers offers, and doctors that utilize tinctures in their practice, the functional medicine doctors, love this one. It's one of our top 3. These are some of the nutrients. It actually has cleavers and clover. It also has iris and ginger. So really comprehensive. We don't use just one herb, really comprehensive formula. So there we go. Remove Complete Detox Kit. Simple, safe, and effective. It's designed to support your body's detoxification pathway. I know I get a lot of questions on my phone right now. How often do you get to do a cleanse? That's my number one question on my text right now. So that's why I make sure my phone was working. Well, I look at it this way. We have a change of seasons, especially in the north. Florida does too, but it's hot, hotter, hottest, and then like super hot, right? But even then, the temperature does change a little bit. Do one seasonally, okay? That's 4 a year. Even if you do it for 3 days or a week, you got to do at least one a year. But I like to do it each season. Right now, I'm starting to cleanse again. It's a pre-holiday cleanse, right? It's a good time of year to do it. The season's changing. It's still nice out. You can go for your walks, and you don't have to do these cleanses for a month or 2. I like about 7 days. How long do you like to do a cleanse for?
That's about what I like to do. Keep it short, keep it reasonable. And typically, if you have something coming up, like a vacation or an event you're going to, or you're going to see some old friends, that's always a good time to do it. But before the holidays is a really good time to do it, because you'll notice some progress in that time. And once all the cookies and treats are laid out for the holidays, you might just stick to dinner and you might not be as hungry. You might not crave all those, or you might have enough willpower to just say no because you're doing good. You don't want to ruin it. And it's a really good way to set yourself up ahead of time.
That's a great point, Candace. And what I do around the holidays, like Thanksgiving, I used to not eat until time to eat, like all morning. And I would eat so much, it didn't feel good. So now what I do, I go to work out, and I do a Nutritional Frontier shake. And depending on what time I'm eating, I may do a second one, just so that I'm not starving and overeat, right? The other thing is don't throw in the towel from Halloween through New Year's, right? You're shaking your head, right? Because that happens to people, right? It's
Well,
like,
we look at this, the holidays are, 3 months long from Halloween to New Year's. I'm sorry, but the holidays are like 4 days.
Yeah, but whatever your religion or family traditions
Yeah.
are and culture, that's cool. Like, have fun. But even those days, right? Don't just throw in the towel, right? If we celebrate on Christmas Eve, so we start eating around 3 or 4. All right, so you have that night to kind of eat a little more and drink a little more, right? But don't just continue that every day and say, well, in January I'm going to start. Your body, it's very unhealthy to do that. So, there's nothing wrong with bringing in a veggie tray. We always do fruit, maybe a little bit of dip with it, right? Nuts and seeds. You can still have your other treats, but try and have a little more balance this year. We don't want to just give up because it's too much stress in the body. And you may be able to get away with it when you're younger. Over time, it's going to catch up, and it's going to be too hard when you start back up in January. The other thing is remain active. Even if you just like to walk, go for a walk in the morning, go for a walk after meals. And you know what? I always say, what gets measured gets accomplished. So I have my phone and I do count my steps on there every day. And, when I started doing that a couple of years ago, it was like 4,500. Then last year it was 8,900. This year it's over 12,000. If you measure it, it's going to hold yourself accountable. So those are the little things you can do. Don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. Keep your body moving and balance out with some shakes or some healthy food.
Yeah, those are some great tips. And I think you measured your time on this too, because you were right on the nose for the timing. So thanks for sticking to this. We just had some questions on here about some of the slides that you posted. So this was a really great PowerPoint. I was able to share those already. So if anyone has any further comments, you can see them here. This is recorded, so you can go on back and watch this, but this information is so powerful. And share this with family members and friends. And as you're talking about all this, Jamie, I'm thinking about holidays, and some people start the day off with mimosas or Bloody Marys. And my family, thankfully, and I'm surprised, even the men in my family do the Pro Colors. That's how all of us start our morning. And drinking 24 ounces of water with the Pro Colors or whatever in it might make you drink a few less of those. So like you said, it's okay to indulge and enjoy the holidays, but make sure you're getting some of that good stuff in there too. So you can
I think the mindset a lot in our country is to wait until something's wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's no different than anything else. The best way to fix anything is prevent it, right? And you want to have some balance. And if you help support your body, you're going to go into the holidays, you'll feel a lot better. It can actually be a very stressful time for a lot of people, right? So part of that is the poor diet, right? Lack of movement, and then the stress, right? So have a better plan going into the holidays and you'll come out of it much easier.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for the great advice.
Well, thanks so much, everyone. I appreciate it. Doing a great job, Candace. Have a great day and God bless everyone.